we can, Commissioner Lingle will join us when he can.
Okay. My name is Patty Sexton, and I'm filling in today for Chairperson Martinez, who is unable to join us. So if you will excuse my sort of, roughness in terms of I'm not used to running these meetings, but I will do my best. So I'll call to order the September 16th, 2020 meeting of the Energy and Environmental Sustainability Commission for the City of Milpitas. And something's happened to my screen.
Oh, no, I think they're just pulling up the flag.
Oh, thank you. So let's go ahead. Please join me in saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All righty. Moving on to the commissioner's roll call. Elaine, will you handle that?
Yes. Let me start with the roll call. Vice Chair Badesha, I don't see him on. Commissioner Kong.
Here.
Commissioner Liu.
Here.
Chair Martinez is not able to make it. She had a business engagement she couldn't rearrange, so she sends her regrets. Commissioner Salian.
Hey. Aye.
Commissioner Sexton.
Here.
And Commissioner Shreve also had a conflict with the school district meeting tonight, so he was not able to make it and sends his regrets. Alternate Commissioner Lingle, I am expecting, so hopefully he'll join us soon. And Vice Mayor Nunez.
I'm here.
Great.
Great, thank you. We can move on to the approval of agenda for tonight's meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the agenda?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Salian. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Kong. Elaine,
Okay.
would you be able to take the roll call for this motion?
Yes, Commissioner Kong.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu.
Aye.
Commissioner Salian.
Aye.
And Commissioner Sexton.
Aye. The motion is passes, and I noticed we have Commissioner Badesha. That's
yes. Hi, it's Manpreet here.
Okay. Hi there. Welcome. We'll move on to the approval of the minutes for last month's meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes?
Aye.
Okay, Commissioner Salian, thank you. And do I hear a second?
I do the second.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Badesha. Can we have a vote on this motion, Elaine?
Yes, I'll administer the roll call vote now. Commissioner Badesha.
Yes, here.
Commissioner Kong.
Aye.
Commissioner Liu. I'm sorry, Commissioner Liu, is that an aye?
Oh, yes. It's aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Salian
Aye.
and Commissioner Sexton?
Aye.
Great.
I believe they're all ayes, and so the motion carries. Let's move on now to the public forum. So I'd like to welcome any members of the public joining us via the live stream. And do we have any public comments to share?
As of now, we do not have any public comments, but I will raise my hand if something does come up during the meeting.
Okay, thanks, Linda. All righty, let's move on to announcements then. Do we have any announcements? I would like to give one announcement briefly. I'd like to say thank you very much to the Public Works Department for providing the really great coastal cleanup kit. I picked up a couple of them, and it was great to have the litter pickup stick so that I didn't have to reach down and get the litter for the collection bags, and even the work gloves came in very handy. And thank you very much for including a small first aid kit. I'm happy to report that I did not have to use the first aid kit. And so, I was able to collect, I think I reported to you, Linda, how many pounds of trash that I picked up on my few hours out. And unfortunately, last Saturday, I was not able to go out because of the smoke and the low air quality. But hopefully this weekend, I'll be able to go out again and do a bit more of the cleanup. So thanks. Any other announcements? Okay, so let's move on. We have two very important business items. The first one is an update on the community odor monitoring pilot project.
Sure. Good evening, Commissioners. Elaine Marshall, Deputy Public Works Director. I'm just here to provide a verbal update on the city's community odor monitoring program. As you may recall, we were here about a year ago with a presentation on the city's community odor monitoring pilot program. We did provide information at that time on the monitoring protocol that was going to be deployed, as well as the monitoring locations. As you may remember, that monitoring plan was developed with technical support from Jacobs Engineering Group. Our staff, both Linda and Matt Lambert, who was here for that presentation, began field work and collecting data in November of 2019. As weather permitted, both Matt and Linda were going out together to the monitoring locations on a weekly basis. They were randomizing and trying to make sure that they went at different times of day and different days of the week to gather data on odor, the weather, and wind direction, among other pieces of information at each of those locations. Due to COVID-19 and the shelter-in-place orders, we did pause on the monitoring and data collection in March as a result of the orders. But I did want to let you know that we did resume the monitoring in July of this year. We used the time that we paused to put into the monitoring protocol, social distancing and safety protocols for both Matt and Linda, and staff who are doing this work. So they are able to maintain their distance and use different equipment while they're out there, so they're not sharing equipment. So they had resumed data collection in July, and we're doing weekly collection again. Unfortunately, in mid-August, because of the fires that had started and air quality issues as a result of the fires, that we had to pause again on data collection. I think you will all agree that this has been an unusual year for the world, and we're seeing its impact, and we are noting that as well with our data. At this point, we're hoping to resume data collection next week. Today was one of the first days I've seen green on the Air Now website for our area. So I think we all took a nice walk in fresh air today. At least I hope you did. So we will be resuming data collection next week. I also wanted to note that as throughout this process, we've been coordinating with Jacobs Engineering Group. They are also under contract with BACMed for BACMed's regional odor attribution study. And so if you recall, BACMed was undertaking that regional study, which was going to be broader and more robust. And then our community odor monitoring pilot was really focused to complement that and really help identify what our community is experiencing. So the BAGMED study was also supposed to start this week. They were monitoring air quality very closely, and I think on Sunday or Monday made the decision to postpone their study until next month, realizing that the air quality was still too bad early this week to be out in the field. So that's where we are right now. We do anticipate continuing the study as long as we can through this calendar year and possibly into spring. So that one of the things we were trying to do was get seasonal data because of the issues and unusual circumstances this year. We'll continue it into kind of early next spring and maybe into the summer so that we can get some more data, hopefully with more normal conditions. So that's my update. Please feel free to let me know if you have any questions.
I'm not able to see if you do raise your hand and I don't respond to it, it's because I don't see it. So if you can physically raise your hand also. Yes, Commissioner Ling, you have a question?
Yes, so for Elaine, I know from the last time that the staff provided the update here in this commission, one of the items that was going to be looked on was going to be like a dashboard in terms of collaboration with the Technology Commission. Do you know if any work is going to be done in this space between now and the end of this kind of pilot study?
Yes, we have been working on the dashboard. We hope to have something to share in the next few months.
Thank you.
I have a question. Given the amount of data that has not been able to be collected, I just wanted to check to see if there's any initial sort of analysis of the data.
Not at this point. Yeah, not at this point. I think we've just seen too many extenuating circumstances. While we have a lot of data at hand, we haven't had a chance to really dive in and try to analyze it yet. We have anecdotal information, and it seems we'll be looking at it more closely.
Okay, thank you. It's totally understandable. Commissioner Ling?
Yeah, so I just wanted to, kind of bring into perspective that because this is an extraordinary year, a lot of the conditions under which the operations are ongoing for the last few months may also not be representative of a normal seasonal behavior. So I just wanted to use maybe this time to bring up one information that was shared at the South Bay Odor Stakeholder Group 2 months ago, whereby they did share with, Vice Mayor Nunes, myself, and Director Tony Da, that there has been a major change at some of the facility, such as the removal, or at least the determination of all wet waste operation at Newbie Island. So these are major changes that I hope during the study, our staff team as well as Jacobs Engineering will also put note into what has changed in order to explain many of the improvements that have happened. Because I think this type of information would be good to know, because if suddenly odor has decreased, is it because of seasonal issue, or is it because of real operational changes? I think these are all information that should be captured.
Yeah, Commissioner Ling, I'll just comment on that a little bit here. That is something that we're going to see what that really does for us, because in addition to the operational change that you talked about, the COVID-19 as a whole has also changed our waste stream as well. So trying to compare what we have now to what things could have been in the past is going to be pretty tricky. So we're evaluating all of that, and then I think, like Elaine mentioned, once we get the get the dashboard set up, and we can then figure out with council's assistance and council's direction on whether we want to look at extending the study, or maybe make some changes to along the line, or maybe relying more on backbed study. It's all yet to be seen. But there's no exact science to this because no one's ever done it before. So we're all just going to kind of be in for the ride together.
Thanks, Tony. Yes, Commissioner Kong mentioned that so many changes that have happened. It definitely will be impacting what we would normally see as the seasonal odor production, as well as, so I imagine that any report coming out will have lots of, little notations everywhere with these exceptional, unusual things occurring. So definitely big issues. Okay, any other questions regarding this agenda item on the odor monitoring? Okay, I don't see any more questions. Therefore, let's move on to the next agenda item, which is the
Commissioner Sexton, hold on for 1 second. We might have a public comment.
Okay, please go ahead.
Oh, hold on. Linda, do you see any public comments?
I don't see any emails now.
Okay. Okay, let's move forward, and if we do see the email or find the email, we will read it at that
Yeah,
time.
we can always come back to it.
Yeah, we'll come back to it. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. So the next item is the 2021 Commission Work Plan. So this is a big item for us to work on tonight. We have the last year's work plan that was approved by City Council. And of course, we weren't able to follow it quite month by month. So there's some changes, but we're sort of, back on track. So this month we are doing the odor update and things like that. But we need to plan for next year, and at the same time expect changes, because that seems to be our life these days. Is lots of unexpected things happening, and we just have to respond to them the best that we can. Elaine, would you like to talk about the work plan?
Sure. I'm sorry. Okay, you know what? I did now see the public comment, so
Good.
I'll go ahead and read that public comment before we get started with the work plan.
Please do.
Sure. The public comment is from Lisa Oliver, who is a Milpitas resident. And the comment is, the Plastics Reduction Bill SB 54 and AB 1080 failed to pass by 3 votes. In parts of the Pacific Ocean, the amount of small bits of plastic exceeds the concentration of plankton and krill, food sources for birds and marine animals. Plastic clogs the digestive tracts of these animals, and they starve and die. A recent UN report warns that species extinctions are accelerating at unprecedented rates. The health of ecosystems on which we and all other species depend is deteriorating more rapidly than ever. Plastic pollution is a threat to our ocean ecosystems that we can no longer ignore. The City of Milpitas can take action by using city ordinances. The majority of consumers do not bring their own reusable bags to the grocery store even before the coronavirus pandemic. The only effective way to reduce plastic waste is to increase the cost. Raise the plastic bag fee from 5 cents to an amount that would inspire a change in consumer behavior. Increase the bottle deposit from 5 cents to 10 cents to an amount which will significantly reduce trash to the landfill. Work with restaurants to find alternatives to single-use plastic containers, such as biodegradable products. Pass a mess kit ordinance where patrons can opt for reusable containers that are brought back to the restaurant in return for a deposit. An example is the Marie Callender's Pie Tin program. Challenge Milpitas Unified School District Food Service to eliminate plastic containers and utensils from the lunch program, reduce food waste, and provide healthy, well-prepared lunches. Search for vendors and consultants who specialize in plastics reduction and provide the information to the public. I also urge the Milpitas Energy and Sustainability Commission to declare a climate crisis emergency. We are reaching those critical tipping points which scientists have predicted. Greenland lost a record amount of ice during an extra warm 2019. Canada lost its last ice sheet this summer. California and Oregon suffered historic heat waves and wildfires in August and September. We are running the engine with the garage door closed. In David Wallace Wells' words, in the uninhabitable earth. We must take action on climate change before it's too late.
Thank you very much. Any comments from the commission? It's an excellent summary of where we are today, and the plastics contamination really needs to be addressed. I've been quite frustrated with the amount of additional plastic waste that I've been generating during the COVID-19 period, because normally I get bulk foods and in my fabric bags and things like that, and that's just not available anymore. And so, and I believe last month, Commissioner Kong, you brought up the question of the declaring a climate crisis, and that we agreed to put into the work plan, which includes the climate action plan work that we'll be doing. So I believe that comment with all the many points to it can be taken into consideration when we put together the work plan as well as the climate action plan in the next few months. And I would recommend for everyone individually to do what they can to reduce the amount of plastic, the single-use plastic waste. Having gone around and done the coastal cleanup, most of what I picked up in my neighborhood was single-use plastic bags. So I was very disappointed to see that. But hopefully we can all encourage all Milpitas residents to do better and figure out the best way to do that. Any other comments on this topic? Okay, thanks very much, Elaine. Let's
Patty?
go. Yes.
I just
Oh,
wanted to also thank the public comment from Ms. Oliver. I think one of the main issues that she brought up is definitely very relevant, that the bills failed to pass by such a slim vote. And I think this also brings into, kind of conversation here, if perhaps we as a commission need to be more proactive in, making, at least taking a position on some of the bills that are going through Sacramento, to at least advocate for certain environmental bills that will benefit everyone. To see certain bills like this fail by such a slim vote is definitely disheartening. And hopefully in today's conversation about work plan, we can also talk about what role we can play to be a stronger advocate, at least from representing our city into some of this new ordinances that are going through the state conversation.
That's a very good point, Commissioner Kong. And I don't know if there's a way that we can, on a regular basis, be aware of these bills and discuss them at our meetings in order to make as a commission, to advocate for certain bills. I think that would be a good use of our collective efforts.
And I do want to just to point out that for Milpitas, it is the city council that will ultimately need to take a position on advocacy of bills and letters, so that the commission could, review items and possibly make recommendations to city council, but ultimately the city council has that authority and makes those decisions on behalf of the city.
Yes, thanks very much, Elaine. Yes, that's the proper procedure is for us to discuss them, be aware of them, and make recommendations to the city council. That'd be great. Okay. So back to the 2021 commission work plan. We have the work plan for the year 2020, which now has sort of like these big gaps in it. And I believe at this point we should just come up with a list of items that we would like to see in next year's work plan. And then Elaine, I think that the staff would be able to work on the structuring of those items in the monthly calendar, see what would make sense for it to be listed. So at this point, I would like to call on commissioners to let say what kind of items that you would like to see in the work plan for next year. And I'm going to look at last year's work plan. Sorry,
Sure.
I didn't, so I have to look it up on my
And let me
screen.
go ahead and provide a little bit of consideration for you as well. As I mentioned at your last meeting, one of the big priorities for us over the next 12 months will be updating the city's climate action plan. And so we are working to kick that process off with the consultant that was approved by council at the beginning of August. And that process will, like I said, take about 12 months. We do anticipate the Energy and Environmental Sustainability Commission to have a key role in advising the process and supporting any community engagement. So I just want you to be cognizant that will be pretty meaty on your plates for next year. We did budget with the consultant about I think 5 to 6 meetings with the commission to go over various aspects of the climate action plan, including the updated emissions inventories, forecasted emissions, strategies, and actions. So there will be, I would say, probably every couple of commission meetings will be dedicated to the climate action plan update. So just bear that in mind. The other item, or the other just procedural note, is that all of the commission from commission work plans are being targeted for city council consideration at their second meeting in October. And because of the way the calendars kind of work, that actually is the day before this commission's next meeting. And so we will likely need to schedule a special meeting of the commission to review the work plan and formally approve it so that we can forward that to council at the end of October. So just wanted to also put that out there for you. And then I'll just turn it over to the commissioners for your discussion.
Okay, thank you. So yes, we do have, we will have both a busy year next year. Elaine, I had a question regarding the consultant being able to provide and meet with the commission. Will we also be having some maybe study sessions in order to, because putting together a climate action plan, particularly given everything that has to be considered in it, is a big job, and we'll need a lot of background information in order to be contributing members on the advisory council. So will we be getting or have additional time to discuss these issues together that may not be able to fit in with the regular business of the commission for the
Yeah, that's a great question, Commissioner Sexton, and I think we will need to work with the consultants closely and with you all to make sure that we are adequately budgeting your time, and that if we need to have an extended meeting because we're diving into some meaty topics about the climate action plan, that we'll definitely make sure you are aware of that ahead of time. And we'll also work with the consultants to make sure that any briefing materials or reading that needs to be done or materials that need to be reviewed ahead of the commission meeting are provided to you with enough time to look through them, hopefully at least a week before the commission meeting itself, so that you can review that in advance and come prepared for a good conversation and good feedback and input.
Okay, that will be very helpful. We will we'll be getting homework assignments then. That's good.
I anticipate that, yes.
Okay, why don't we go ahead and look at the 2020 work plan and use that as a basis for creating next year's. So in no particular order, but I'll start with January. We had planning for the Earth Day event. So will we be having a 2021 Earth Day event either online or, oh, thank you very much for putting that up. So does this belong on the work plan for next year?
I would say so. I would love to do, I think last year we were planning for our in-person event all the way up until the end of February or beginning of March. And that was right as the county was starting to close down on large events. And so we did cancel our in-person event pretty far along into the planning process. So I would, I hope we can do an in-person event come April, and we should plan on that. If not, I think we've seen lots of interest in online webinars. And so we should, if we do some planning, we should be able to do so with the foresight to pivot that to virtual or online if needed.
Okay, that sounds great. So it sounds like that item should stay with just an update to 2021 Earth Day. Commissioners, do you have any comments on that particular item? Okay, if not, let's move on to, I guess we will need to keep on our work plan some more updates on the odor monitoring study, both the one that Milpitas is doing as well as BachMed. And then getting an update on the guaranteed energy and water savings resilience project. That makes sense to have another update.
Sure, I think so. It should be good to have another update.
Okay, so let's put that on. Then review calendar of sustainability events. Well, I don't know if we need to specifically have that on our work plan, but certainly we will be doing that as new sustainability events come up. The trail, bikeway, and pedestrian master plan. Do we know where that stands right now, given I think that was interrupted also, so we haven't seen the master plan yet.
Yeah, that's one topic that I was looking forward to for almost 2 years, and we could not have that conversation.
Yeah, I know staff are still working on pulling it together. I think during the past few months, we've been sharing kind of online surveys and ways to provide input to that plan, that planning effort. And staff, I did reach out before this meeting to check in on status and see if they were ready to bring an update yet to the commission, and they were not, but they're hoping for later this year. So I think something will be coming later this year in the form of an administrative draft for the commission to weigh in on and review.
Okay, thank
So
you.
it's still being worked on. It hasn't been forgotten. It's just been, you know, as everything else, kind of faced with needing to pivot because of COVID.
Right. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll keep that on the,
I had something to add to this particular topic.
Yeah.
Is there a way to also kind of add on to it to include some sort of update on the mass transit routes within Milpitas? Just because, you know, BART is already here, and are there going to be collaboration with our, you know, local transit systems to update the routes to make sure that all the popular you know, neighborhoods and destinations are incorporated to make sure that we maximize the use of transit within our city?
that's a good point. Does it make sense, Elaine, to put that in with the Trail Bikeway and Pedestrian Master Plan?
I cannot speak to that, but I will take that back to our transportation staff who are working on the plans. I know the bike trail and pedestrian master plans are really focused on active transportation. But that's one of those items where we'll take it down and let us see what we can do on that. And
Vice Mayor Nunes, you have a comment?
Yeah, so I just wanted to say that I do think it is probably appropriate to put it on there. One is this Friday at 9 o'clock, because I'm on the VTA board, we're having a workshop that's talking about some of the things we're going to look at reducing or eliminate with regard to all those into the next year. And what you want to do is follow the impact across the county, but specifically here in Milpitas, because of the reduction in ridership. But they're talking about bikeways, walkways, bus routes, the light rail, and specifically the lack of ridership on BART and the impact across the board because they're down so much with regard to ridership. So I think you need to look at that because they are big partners in the contribution of dollars to the bike paths and along with Santa Clara Water District. So I think it's good to put it on just so you can see where they're going and be vocal when it comes time to which routes, specifically bus routes, might be reduced and or eliminated.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Could you provide a little bit of clarification when you say put it on? Are you talking about putting this item on the this commission's list or on the group that's handling the trail bikeways and pedestrian master plan?
I think it's good on both. I don't think that it needs to be just on one. I think it impacts both.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
And that's just my opinion.
Yes, I agree with you. I just wanted to be sure that I wasn't misunderstanding. And but I certainly would like to see the Trail Bikeway and Pedestrian Master Plan incorporate transit options, because if you're a pedestrian, then that would be a very good mode of transportation to incorporate. Okay, so then moving on, we have an item that says brainstorm and plan a potential citywide garage sale. which was just a wonderful idea. I have no idea whether garage sales are even permitted or will be permitted next year. Any comments on that? And I have to apologize. I'm using an iPad, so even when I try to see all of the screens, all of your screens, I can only see about 3 of them. So if you're raising your hands like that, I probably can't see it. So just go ahead and speak up, please. Okay. I think a citywide garage sale probably needs to go on the back burner, given that we're going to be putting the climate action plan on the work plan as a really big item. And hopefully when all things calm down and we get back to being able to do great neighborhood events and be able to get together and have a citywide garage sale, that we can plan one at that point in time. Any comments on my suggestion?
I think that's a good idea. So next year, I think I don't think it's a good time to do the garage sale at that point, because people may still be nervous on the COVID-19. They may still, nobody knows when the vaccine will be ready. So I think planning this is a little bit, planning the garage sale a little bit premature.
Yes. I mean, I think the best that could be done is for like part of the online Earth Day event kind of thing is to encourage people to use online, selling or trading of garage sale items on, say, like Nextdoor, or offering them on Free Cycle, or, just options for being able to pass on your possessions that you no longer use, and to be able to put them to better use in other people's hands. So that might be a way of handling in lieu of a citywide garage sale. Okay, so we'll take that one off. Next item is, we've talked about the climate action plan. So I'm sure that Elaine, you'll be putting that on our work plan about 6 times, 6 months for next year. So
We'll see. 4 to 6 times.
Okay, so and we will be coming fully prepared to those meetings to discuss the topics. Okay, the next one was okay. We'll have some more odor monitoring updates. Single-use disposable foodware model ordinance. Does it make sense to expand that to, all single-use plastics, not just foodware? Elaine, was that item specific to only the foodware ordinance, or would we be able to enlarge that to have on our work plan to really dig into what to do about single-use plastics?
So the item that's on for May, we were planning to and hoping to have provided an update on a county-wide effort to develop a model ordinance focused on reducing single-use disposable foodware. That effort has kind of since paused because of COVID. So I think I leave it to the commission and what you guys would like to focus on next year. So if it's your purview, if you want to expand it and identify kind of what your goals and objectives and what you guys will be discussing.
Okay, commissioners, any comments on that?
I still feel like this topic is still very relevant because of the amount of, even with COVID, the amount of single-use disposable plastics or even any other materials that's used for packaging is still a big issue in terms of waste generation. I would definitely want to keep it. Whether or not we expand it to all single-use disposable plastics, I don't know if we have good references of a single ordinance that cover every single types of plastic waste, or we need to focus on one right now and then maybe leave the bigger items of other types of single-use plastics for the following year, so that way we are not chewing more than what we can buy.
Okay, that's a good point, Commissioner Khan. Rome wasn't built in a day, unfortunately. Okay, so
Hey, Ms. Sexton, this is Chuck Lingle. I'm sorry I'm late, and I had technical difficulties on the video, so I'm going without the video feed. But can you tell me, or someone tell me more about, this topic? Is this to discuss the development of a new ordinance, or to review an ordinance that's already there? Can you elaborate a little bit?
Sure. The original topic was to provide an update on a model ordinance that was being developed by some other cities in Santa Clara County for the commission to review and talk about whether or not Milpitas should consider adopting a similar ordinance, adopting the model as it was developed, or modifying it. So that was kind of for the commission to review and consider and make recommendations to the council. That's where, because of COVID, that effort's kind of paused. We've seen a lot of single-use bag bans get suspended because of the minimizing kind of the passing back and forth of containers and bags. So that's where that is at this point.
Right, so it is to consider a model for an ordinance, and it could be that we may want to widen it during this consideration. So yeah, that's fine. Is this model available for reading now, or is it just just started?
It was being drafted. There are several cities like Palo Alto and Berkeley who have adopted ordinances that were serving as the model for the South Bay model ordinance, and so it is not yet available for review.
okay, so it sounds like we definitely want to keep that particular item on the work plan. And if the information becomes available earlier than when it's slated for next year, we can consider moving, changing the order of our work plan. So that sounds good. Okay. Next is recycling and garbage services review. So I think we definitely want to have that on a work plan as we do each year to see how things are. Any comments from the commissioners on that particular item?
I do have, sorry, I'm not sure
yes.
if somebody else wanted to speak as well.
I'll go ahead, Commissioner Kong, and then I'll ask for the next person.
I just wanted to see whether when we get this update or discussion on the recycling and garbage services, we can also talk about suggestions on how to at least improve some of the curbside pickup services. I mean, in terms of the, the bulk pickup. I think that's one area where a lot of people in the community still doesn't seem to be aware of all the services that are available, and it's constantly being brought up as something that it just seems like after 2-3 years into this new service, relatively new, a lot of people are still not aware of everything, and I think it might be an opportunity to also get feedback and see where it can be improved upon or where it can be fine-tuned.
That's a good point. I'm amazed that I still see comments of complaints that the dump days are no longer available, but I think that the curbside bulk pickup is actually more convenient than doing dump days. So, and people are not aware of that. So it would be great if Milpitas Sanitation is able to promote that particular service that is free to our residents, so that they could be more aware of that. Definitely. Thanks for bringing that up. Was there another comment regarding the recycling and garbage services?
Yes, I had one. That's Chuck. Let's see, on the recycling, it would be great to, we're hearing a lot about how, we are now recycling challenged. We no longer have, an option to, transport this to other countries, or we basically have to, take care of it ourselves. And there is, a great temptation of, mixing non-recycled, recyclable plastics with recyclable plastics, which taints the recyclable plastics. It would be great to understand more, what the process is for actually separating all that out. I am, absolutely frustrated to have to throw away perfectly good plastic to the landfill because it is not recyclable. It would also be good to explore options, with other recycling companies around the Bay Area and maybe other startups or other ideas that, maybe the high school or the colleges may have to actually, entertain processing more of these other types of plastics, so that we can actually, do more to take these plastics out of the system instead of, put them into the landfill. So hopefully we can expand on this.
Yes, it's very frustrating when some plastics are seem to be recyclable and other plastics are not, and it's not a very clear way of being able to determine which are and which aren't. And I think that it would be good to sort of have better guidance as to how to properly sort recycling items. Okay, let's move on to.
I have a question here.
Oh, yes, go ahead.
How are we doing on meeting the state mandate of doing the landfill divergence? Can we get a summary on that and see whether they're on track?
For the while we are addressing the recycling and garbage services, that would
because I think the state has a mandate of the landfill divergence goals. Let's say by 2022, where should we be? By 2025, where should we be? So can we, when they make a summarize there on that agenda, can we get an idea of where we are? Are we meeting the state mandate? Are we going to meet the state mandate in the 2 years from now? Something like that.
Elaine,
I'm nodding my head. Yes, we can do that. We can include that with that agenda item. Sorry.
Great. Thank you very much. That would be great to put those two together. All righty. The next item is Silicon Valley Clean Energy update. I think that would be good to have a yearly update from SVCE. And then after that is planning for energy efficiency outreach campaign in October. So that probably, that was actually something that I had asked to be put on the work plan. And at this point, I'd be happy to put it on the back burner again, given that there's so much new things being added with the climate action plan. So does anyone have any concerns about taking off the energy efficiency month of October campaign from next year's work plan? Okay, so let's go ahead and put that on the back burner. Hopefully we can bring it back in a future year. Next item is, okay, more climate action plan. Yep, yes, we'll be having that one. Another odor monitoring study update. Yes, we've done that already. Water and sewer master plan. Yes, I think, Elaine, will there be some more information available on how that's coming along?
Commissioner,
Tony?
I'll chime in on that one there. So the water and sewer master plans, those are slated to be, we're in the draft forms of those right now. Those are slated to be wrapped up by the end of the year. I would suggest to the commission that a better topic to look to tackle with your work plan would be the urban water management plan, which are also due, that item is due to the state middle of next year. So it'd be a good opportunity for the commission to possibly look at that item and maybe reshape the way we do conservation of water and other items here in the city. So that's just my humble suggestion to the commission.
Okay. Thank you for that suggestion, Tony. That's a very good one because yes, starting with the October part of this current work plan, hopefully we will be able to accomplish what's on 3 months, October, November, and December. So for 2021, we don't need to or put the water and sewer master plan on again, but to do the to add Tony's suggestion would be great. Commissioner Ling, you have a comment? You're on mute.
Thank you so much. Sorry. So the topic that Tony, you just brought up about urban water, can we maybe join that with the other item that's already in February? Because since if you, whoever is controlling the screen right now, if you can just scroll back up to February, we have a topic about water saving. Is that something that we can expand to include the urban water plan?
That item was specific to the ESCO project, the Guaranteed Energy and Water Savings at City Facilities,
I see.
which we already talked about, including another update on kind of where that project is next year for the commission. And then Tony's item on the urban water management plan is really more system-wide, includes looking at long-term water projection, water demand, and then conservation measures. So it's a little different. I think both are worthy to keep on the agenda, on the work plan.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Great. Any other questions or comments? All righty, great. So now we are down to, let's see, November work plan approval. Okay, that's odor monitoring update. Okay, so I think that the individual topics we've covered from the last year or this current year's work plan, what needs to go into next year. Are there any new items that we should be adding?
Let's see.
If I can just make a suggestion, I think earlier we talked about wanting to see if we can perhaps play a role in advocating for any of the bills that are going through state legislation. And since a lot of the the last day to introduce new bills at the state level is end of February, and a lot of the votes are going to be taken in June to September, do you think we can perhaps slot that in before June to look over any of the new bills and where we can perhaps recommend for advocacy?
So that is a good point. Maybe in the March, April, May timeframe in our work plan to be able to have a review of the new bills that are being considered, and then be able to discuss them and recommend to City Council which ones the City of Milpitas would be good to support those. So Elaine, would we be able to add a, I guess, legislative proposal review, something like that?
Let me take that one back and discuss that with the city administration and figure out the best way of doing that and how we might be able to bring something like that back and fit it on the work plan.
Okay, great, thank you.
We'll note that as something you guys would like to do, though.
All right, great. And there was one item that was discussed I brought up last month, and that is to review noise pollution. And so would we be able to add it to our work plan to discuss noise pollution and how to encourage the reduction of gas-powered leaf blowers in the city?
That is actually a very good topic to have, because I think besides leaf blowers, another constant complaints that I hear from the community has always been about the railroad tracks and how the horns are being blasted into the night and so on. And I know that City of Fremont has, in the last 5 years, has taken a very active role in creating quiet zone for some of the railroad crossings, and they have been very successful. So maybe this is an area that we can include in the noise pollution.
Okay, thanks very much.
Of this commission?
Could you repeat that, please?
Without the scope of this commission, the noise.
The scope of?
Scope of this commission.
Oh, are you asking whether noise pollution is within the scope of this commission? Question, Elaine?
I think if you were focused on reducing noise from gas-powered leaf blowers, that's probably within the purview of the commission. I think when you get to the railroad issue, that is likely beyond the scope of this commission. So I think it's, there's things that contribute to noise that are also climate pollution and air pollutant sources versus just the railroad. So, and I believe there are other issues and efforts underway to deal with the railroad noise citywide. So I would.
So that falls into either another commission or in general with the city council?
Others, yes.
I think even the leaf blowers is, the general noise, but if you say that because it's forced in here because using the gas, but cars also using gas. So I think that leaf blower is maybe outside the scope of this commission.
The gas-powered leaf blowers have a what's called a single-stroke engine that uses and emits actually more air pollution as a result of the combustion than automobiles according to its size. So that's why a lot of communities have looked at trying to reduce their use in their communities.
It's not so much. I mean, we're approaching leaf blowers with a noise issue, and it's a fairly indirect approach. This kind of goes back to the whole green gardener advocation. It isn't really. I don't know if we're ever going to get rid of leaf blowers, and even the electric leaf blowers make noise. So the real point here is to try and advocate a conversion over to electric for those leaf blowers and every other gardening tool, or a reversion back to rakes. That'd be great, but I think that's fairly unlikely at this point. So perhaps Commissioner Sexton, is this? Do we want to, cast this topic as a you know, a green gardening kind of thing and also approach, you know, the noise pollution, or is it noise pollution and
Yes, and Commissioner Lingle, and yes, it's two two topics. One is the emissions, that type of pollution. On the noise pollution part, which may not fall under the Sustainability Commission quite so much, and I don't know where it would go. I think actually that what needs to happen there is just to promote and make the public aware of the noise ordinance that is already established and was updated, I think, a few years back for the city of Milpitas. And a lot of people don't realize that there is a noise ordinance that they can sort of either point to or adhere to, that the city council considered in detail, and the wording of it, I think, would be quite acceptable to people that complain about noise pollution. So that wasn't so much me bringing this topic up. It wasn't so much to try to do something about noise pollution, because I think what exists right now for the city ordinance is good if it's implemented and used appropriately, but also to introduce the sort of the emissions and, as you call it, Commissioner Lingle, the green gardening for all of the landscaping tools, which I think that is a topic in itself to make people aware that there are options of electric rather than gas-powered gardening tools that are not, first of all, they're typically not as loud and as gas-powered tools, and also there are equipment that's becoming available that are equivalent to the usefulness or the utility of the gas-powered versions of those tools.
they are available. It's a matter of cost. So, but you know, I think that would be a good topic to add is, you know, how, you know, maybe hearing from the county, you know, they have that Green Gardener, you know, program. It would be good to, you know, understand if there's anything we can do locally, you know, along the same lines, or you know, sponsor.
So is your recommendation to modify the item on the work plan to focus on electrification, you know, just to discuss and the electrification of gardening tools?
Yeah, that would be great.
Okay, any other comments on that request? Okay, so Elaine, if you could find sort of the appropriate wording to and see whether we can fit it in. I know that we have a very full work plan there. Okay, any other items that we should consider for next year's work plan?
I have a question. I have one more item to add, but before I do that, a question, and that is, we wanted to defer the energy efficiency outreach in October. So, is it that? Remind me again. I do not recall. I'm not sure if this is coming up. Or if we've covered this. Is this a regular annual campaign, or?
No, it was actually, Commissioner Lingle, it was a brand new item on the work plan that I had requested in the previous year, because the month of October is a National Energy Efficiency Month for the United States. And I thought that it would be a good idea to highlight that for within Milpitas, and to do some promotion of energy efficiency actions that can be taken. Now, I have noticed, and I don't know if you have also, that PG&E in the last few months have been doing, have been sending out a lot of emails on things that people, both residences and businesses, can do for energy efficiency. And I was very glad to see that they're being active in promoting energy efficiency throughout the Bay Area, and I think throughout the entire PG&E territory. They're offering their different energy efficiency programs that individuals and businesses can sign up for, and to take advantage of those programs to assist in becoming more energy efficient.
I like the idea. I don't necessarily want to, lose sight of this. Could we move this to September, where it's a little lighter schedule?
So there's not a specific month to do it. We have added so many new things to the work plan that the thought was that this one could be deferred until the following year if we couldn't fit it into our work plan. But certainly, I mean, I agree with you. I wouldn't want to not do it. Yeah. But if there's something that needs to be pushed to the following year, then this could be one item, since there's a lot of other energy efficiency education that's currently going on.
Indeed. Okay. Well, again, I share the sentiment about, allocating that August session dedicated to the action plan update. Perhaps, if we can squeeze it into, September, that would be great. Again, or dovetail a conversation on this with Silicon Valley Energy Update in June. Again, asking them about, their energy efficiency outreach plans for October.
Yes. Well, one place that would be a really good place to put it is in our Earth Day planning for, whether it's online or in person, is to through the Earth Day be able to promote energy efficiency at that time.
Exactly. That's fine. Okay. So my next one to consider adding, and this would be in the August or maybe June timeframe, is again, just, I mean, it's going to get hotter. It's going to get hotter, and we're going to have power outages, and so I would like to check in on. I'd like to, have some kind of a session that checks in on our readiness for, somehow, providing air conditioner for, air conditioning and, backed up power for, air conditioning come August and September of next year. It would be great to, just have a check-in on our readiness for this. This recent bout, is a wake-up call, and it's going to get worse. So I would like to just check in on, what kind of facilities we have, what kind of, power backup those facilities have. Something on that kind of resilience topic. Is that covered in any of these our current work plan?
I can comment on that if you don't mind, Commissioner Sexton. The item that we have coming up with the energy, environmental, sustainable, sorry, the ESCO that we have. A lot of the topics in there address exactly what you're looking for, Commissioner Lingle. They address things like backup power for critical facilities, for resource centers. They address items as cutting down on electricity usage. They address items as backup power, solar. So I think we have that covered already, unless the question is readiness as a community, which is a little different. But if the question is readiness as a city, a lot of what you're asking for is going to be covered as part of the work we're doing with NG on that ESCO. And I think we have an update for that coming up in February, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, that's great. That's good.
Okay, great. Any other topics to discuss? Well, I think that we actually have a very good list for staff to look through and try to schedule our work for next year. And I think in early October, sounds like we will have a special meeting to consider the proposed work plan for 2021. And we'll meet to discuss the draft and be able to finish it up and get it ready so that we can vote on it and submit our work plan to City Council. Is there anything else to be done on that, Elaine, at this point? Can't hear you, Elaine. Still can't hear you. I think your mic is on, but we can't hear anything you're saying. Hello? Oh, I'm sorry.
Still no, huh?
Oh, now we can hear you.
Okay, great. Sorry, I think my plug got loose. I don't think there's anything else. If the commission is done identifying topics, we'll take this back and try to work it into a good calendar for next year. I'll send out a poll to all of the commissioners in the next day or so, looking for dates and times for a special meeting so that you can consider the full work plan and approve it and for forwarding to the City Council.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, oh, yes, Commissioner Kong, you have a question?
Yeah, if it's not too late, I just wanted to get maybe clarification from Elaine. If I remember for the building electrification codes, it was supposed to be reviewed every few years. Are we up for another review?
Not yet. It's a 3-year cycle for the green building code. So we're a few years away.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Okay, yes, Commissioner Kong, you brought up the question of the REACH codes. And I know that our REACH codes, I believe, were just a recommendation rather than an actual requirement for new buildings. And I wanted to ask the commission if that should be reconsidered given the fact that we've seen how, particularly this year, how important it is to, as quickly as possible, get away from burning fossil fuels, and any new buildings that are being built with gas pipelines will just extend the usage of fossil fuels for another 30, 40 years, and doesn't really meet the time frame that the state is looking to get us. Any comments on that? So
I had one more idea, and we'll see if this flies. Ms. Sexton and Ms. Kong, you guys reminded me of the special circumstances we're in, and with the COVID situation, everybody's working from home, and I wonder if and folks are going to the parks. It is just fantastic. The parks are full every evening. And I wonder if it would be great to figure out a way as a city to advocate more, more about these parks and, have them become the hub of the neighborhoods in a more consistent manner. So that, once, the COVID environment lifts, folks, I will be working from home. I love working from home, and my company is allowing it, and so I hope to be working from home. I hear that many other places are doing something similar, and with all of this homebound work environment. Everybody's going to need more from their parks. It would be great to maybe have a session on, how to cast our parks more of the community hub and keep people out of their cars. Is that a worthwhile topic?
Elaine, you can guide us here, whether it belongs with our commission or maybe the Parks and Rec folks.
Right.
But
You know what? I wanted to go ahead and draw your attention that our Recreation and Community Services Department is right now seeking community input on a parks master plan that's under development. I will send a link to their survey. I think that's probably, if you want to really kind of weigh in on it as they're developing the master plan, that would be the best venue to get that feedback. I think the master plan really lays out a long-term plan for what gets invested into our parks and what they are for our community. So I think Commissioner Lingle, I'm going to redirect you to that effort. It's timely. It's really timely. And like I said, the survey's open right now, and that effort's underway.
Thank you. That's a recommendation. I've already filled out that survey, and so I encourage everyone else to do the same, because it's a good way, and I like the way that it was laid out in terms of the questions to get understanding of the respondents' priorities. So thanks. So I guess I haven't heard any agreement to sort of relook at or to add to the work plan, looking at the Milpitas reach codes again at this time. So I guess we can put that to the side. It might be part of the climate action plan discussions that we bring that topic up. Okay, thanks. Well, thanks very much, commissioners, for this lengthy discussion and your great inputs and your ideas of what we should be working on next year. And, it's very clear to see that our work is cut out for us, given what we have experienced this year and the future that we see year after year, without us taking direct action and being decisive and really challenging ourselves of what we should be doing as a community. It won't get any better unless we put the really hard thoughts and then the action into place in order to make things get better in the future. So thank you very much for your time. I think at this point checking our agenda here. Okay.
I want to thank you to you as well, managing well and putting us together and creating a plan. And so this is good that you're controlling meeting well.
Oh, thank you very much. Even though I'm only a fill-in, but I'm happy to do this. I think that Vice Mayor Nunes had to drop off for another meeting, so I don't think he had any specific liaison report for us. Does the staff have any other reports to share with the commission?
I just want to comment that on October 6th, we will be taking an item to council for approval of the energy conservation measures for the ESCO program. If you all wouldn't mind chiming in, you've seen us present this, I think, on 2 occasions, and you've had a front row seat to all the benefits of what the program could do for the city. So I'd appreciate if you folks were to chime into that meeting and hear the final presentation. And we're all going to be crossing our fingers that the package we bring forward is looked at favorably by council for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony. Very good point. I will put that on my calendar to attend the October 6th City Council meeting. Thanks. Okay, if there's no other items to discuss, do I hear a motion to adjourn this meeting?
Aye.
Thank you, Commissioner Salian. Do I hear a second for adjournment?
Yes.
Sorry, is that Commissioner Bastida said that? Okay,
Yes.
great, thank you. And so, Elaine, would you be able to do a roll call on the votes?
Yes. Commissioner Badesha, are you in favor of the motion to adjourn the meeting?
Yes.
Great. Commissioner Kong?
Aye.
Commissioner Liu?
Aye.
Commissioner Salian?
Aye.
Commissioner Sexton?
Aye.
And Commissioner Lingle?
Commissioner Lingle?
Aye, yes.
Great.
Thank you. So motion carries. Thank you very much for your time and efforts this evening, and look forward to the next meeting with you. Thanks and good night.
Good
Bye,
night.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.